All right, y'all, before we start, because some of y'all be tripping, under the advice of counsel, I got to add that the views, thoughts, opinions that are expressed on this podcast are mine and mine alone. They do not represent my employer. All right, let's go.
I think I got one.
Because I was like, damn, do we really want to get into this discussion?
Do we really want to get into
this
this
discussion right here, y'all?
We can get into the discussion. Let's talk about it.
What's up, y'all? We are back with our second segment with our college professors and the literacy gap in college. Before we ended, we had the Houston's hot girl of comedy, educator extraordinaire, getting ready to talk about icons.
Yeah.
And what we talking about literacy and the fact that these kids are in the workplace and in higher ed and they are struggling with literacy. Mm-hmm. And you brought up the subject of icons.
They need to thank Bill Gates and Bob Marley, whoever created the icon. I don't know. I'm still trying to understand the eggplant thing. I think it's a good thing.
Okay, I think it is.
But a lot of these kids, you wonder, how is it I didn't recognize my child not being able to read? Icons. You have adults that can work a computer backwards and forwards just by the simple use of icons. Mm-hmm. We have a high level of people who are not functioning. I like, because to call somebody illiterate sounds like you calling me the B word back in the day. But we have a lot of people that are functioning just off of having great memory of what the icons, how to use them. I was, and y'all don't judge me. I'm human. I was at a particular restaurant.
You said the Sonics.
Yes, it was Sonics.
No, you said the Sonics, like we was in the country, the Sonics.
We was at the Sonics on Mesa. It's closed down, but don't worry, it was there. I ordered something, and I forgot what it was, and the girl brought me back the bill. And I'm noticing her hold my 20, and the bill, baby, what's wrong? She said, on here, it's supposed to tell me how much change you're supposed to get back. And I said, So I waited a minute. Then the devil took the wheel. The devil
in that Bible that you wrote.
The devil, his name is Jamarcus. The devil took the wheel and said, if she don't know it, it ain't your problem. And so the angel said, help her. But
Jamarcus won.
And Jamarcus, through me, told this little girl, who I gave her 20. I said, baby, you give me a 5. You give me a 10, 5 ones, and 85 cents. Y'all, I got back my money, then some. And I felt guilty all the way home. But the devil was eating on his Sonics going, she should have knew how to read.
Hell is hot.
But what I find is, because people think, because you're teaching public speaking and speech, reading is not mandatory. Yes, it is. It's very much so mandatory. But we have to constantly remind our kids that reading is a part of everything. With my sports, with my athletes, do you want to be like, I think the guy's last name is Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor. Outstanding, phenomenal football player. He's driving an Escalade, but his manager driving a Maybach. That makes no sense. You know why? He couldn't read the contract. And one student said, well, I will sue. But I don't think you can win a case because you didn't read or you couldn't read. I said, so stop entrusting people with your livelihoods and your career. If you ever want to maintain full control of yourself and get all your coins, you better know how to read. And then not only know how to read, don't be fearful of going ask something that you don't know. Even with comedy, there things come across my desk that I don't understand. I can read it, but it's just not registering. I'm not afraid to go call Ali or a nephew Tommy or any of those people. Go, hey, I got this contract and it says this, and they'll say, yeah, that's a tricky one. And they'll show me how to maneuver around it. Right. So we got to get the stigma of not knowing how to read, because a lot of the kids think that everybody in the classroom can read. Right. I watched a little girl debate with one of our former colleagues. I don't understand how he got a 70 and I got a 50. I answered all 20 and he answered 5. And how is his grade? And the teacher did not know how to explain to her that this kid falls into a particular program because she was thinking that the teacher was purposely slighting her because he said something. She said something about his mama or something. She thought that he was holding a grudge. So I basically had to come out there and say,
I will hold a grudge. You say something about my mama, though.
I'll fight you.
Okay.
No questions asked. But I had explained to her, I said, look, you think everybody in your classroom can read, right? Yeah, they supposed to. No. And the first question she asked me after then was, how the heck they get to the 9th grade if they can't read? My mom and them told me I better know how to read or they were going to whoop my ass. I said, well, baby, you have those in here. So we have to grade them a little differently. She said, well, how about y'all give them an upgrade and teach them how to read? But a lot of the kids don't know that some of their best partners are struggling with reading. Yeah. And what happens if we can keep dumbing down lessons, those smart kids gonna feel, why work hard?
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna be a dummy too, because a dummy gonna get a 70.
I'm gonna graduate. So when you say that, we talk about what are some changes in the educational policies of the curriculum that we think is necessary to address those gaps. So when we talk about testing, right? We said earlier in the last episode that we talk about the passing standard for these standardized tests that these kids are required to have graduation. What Algebra 1, what a 42%, I want to say. World history is I don't know, I'm shooting out numbers. I want to say 50%. And I don't think anything, hell, are any of the exams required to graduate higher than a 50% passing rate?
English is.
English, what is it, 53,
yeah.
54?
53, something like that.
I can't remember, but it's the bare minimum. We are literally at the bare minimum,
and they're still not.
And they're still not. And they're still not. They're still not passing. But when we go to now, we have it to where a lot of these kids, the colleges now, are not even requiring SAT and ACT scores to get in now. They can take, if you took the TSI and you took, I'm going to use dual credit, right? Dual credit is a big thing in a lot of our school districts. And so the kid can take a TSI test, and say they score 400 or whatever they scored, the bare minimum on TSI. But because you took it, you can say that, you got some you're prepared for college readiness, or you're prepared to take this next class. And so these kids go to college now. We used to call it college now when I was in Fort Bend. But that was English 1301, 1302 was all we had back in that. Now these kids graduating with whole associate's degrees from high school. Right. But we only had those 2 classes. But if I got a high school teacher they still have to teach their required high school courses, all right? And then they got a section or 2 sections of college English. They tired as hell from all the requirements that the school district is putting on them. So they're going to be hella lenient in my college now classes, which is why a lot of kids are opting to take dual credit English or dual credit classes in school. So now I get to put on my transcript that I've taken this class. So now I'm prepared as an 18-year-old to take British Lit when I get to the University of Houston now as an 18-year-old. And I have no damn idea who Queen Elizabeth is, who none of these people are.
Well, the thing about it is now, I know for me, they do a lot of co-requisite classes. So they're taking my English 1301 class from 4 to 5:50, and 6 to 7:50 is their co-req class. So I have to work with the co-requisite teacher because we have these students in common. And
explain to us what a co-requisite class. So I know a prerequisite.
Co-requisite class is basically like a remedial class. So it's teaching them those skills that they didn't get, quote unquote, that they didn't get before they got to college. But they take a regular English class simultaneously.
This sounds like a money grab.
Yeah. Wow.
And then some institutions, I know at one point Texas Southern, they would still make when you enter. You
didn't even get credit for the class.
You didn't even get credit, and they would give you. You could take the TASP or you could take whatever, but everybody had to take the TSU, whatever test it was, so they could see where you were, because your transcript might have said you should be taking this, but when you took their test, if it did not show that. Something's wrong with this transcript because it says you're freshman college ready, and we get here and you can't write a complete sentence off of our test, and our test basically comes from the high school arena.
Right.
No, you were going to take
this remedial class.
I took remedial math,
but
and I was
what
okay
they don't
with
understand is if you're taking these remedial classes or co-requisite classes while you're simultaneously taking the regular class, it's really a hindrance. Because you still don't have the skills, but you have the expectations. That's the problem. You have the expectations of what you need to do versus the expectations of what should be happening, right? So, like, I have to be creative. I'll put it that way with my lessons. And so sometimes I know they're wondering, like, have you ever remember that TV show? My kid would never do that. And then what would you do? And all those
Right.
little shows.
Right.
So we watch those little clips, video clips, and I know they'd be like, "Why are we watching this?" But what it is we're talking about narratives. So I'm sneaking in, like, once we watch this video clip, how would you handle the situation? What would you do about this? What do you think is going to happen? So you're bringing in your personal experience in the response, right? A narrative is about your personal
Right.
experience. And so as I'm building, because they're reading narratives, outside of the class,
Outside the
allegedly.
class.
And so we're building the foundation of narratives. So because you're explaining why you feel this way because of your experience, and then as we navigate, then we can finally get to the part where you have to write an essay about a personal experience. But then that freaks them out, right? And I make sure that the narrative selections of choices of what they write about are not that hard. But I always tell a story. I'm not going to tell a story today. But I always tell a story to lead them into it. And I'm like, how do I know it's true? You have to use your imagination.
I tell my kids all the time, these people in Austin don't know you lying or not. Just make it a lot good.
No, because guess what? What the last thing I'm doing when you write that essay and I read it is go research to see if you actually did experience this. You have to be creative, and they lack that ability of creativity now.
Yeah.
You have those kids that are actual creative creatures, but you also have these kids that because everything is given to them, and this is what I call it. Okay, y'all like gumbo? Y'all like gumbo?
Love it. I make a mean one too.
See,
Girl, I'm coming to your house.
so I say, yeah, and then if I have some Hispanic students, whatever that, the pozole or something like that. So I say, okay, so, when your auntie make it, your grandma make it, they make that roux. And then they, season the vegetables and get the vegetables going. And then they get the shrimp and the crab and all that kind of stuff. And it takes about 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, right? Like, and when you taste it, it just melts in your mouth, right? But you know what you can do? You can go to Walmart. Frozen food section. Gumbo. Take it to the microwave, put it in there. 3 minutes, you got gumbo. Which gumbo do you want? You want the one that took time, that had to marinate, that it had to have patience and care. Or do you want the one and love? Or do you want the instantaneous gumbo? And they're like, oh no, we want the good one. I say, so that's how you have to deal with writing and reading. You have to take the time, the care, the love, because you guys are instantaneous beings now. You get information instantaneously. You get answers instantaneously.
They get gratification
instantaneously. But that's not how this works. You didn't go to school for 12 years just to say, oh, no, here you go.
Right.
It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
But because we are, I'm calling like a popcorn. We're creating like this popcorn group of kids, right? Like, it is instant.
Instant.
And now we're pushing them through to where they're getting ready to graduate or they're graduating. Now it's like, oh shit, what's next? What do I do now? And the teachers aren't there to hold my hand. My mama said, get up and go get it now because I'm grown, I've graduated. But they literally have no skill.
Yeah.
They have no skill. And I always get into that, damn, what more could I have done on the middle school level than what more could the high school teachers have done? But again, it's not us. We're all fighting the system.
Right,
so I'm gonna ask you, Ms. McCoy, what do you think? Like, what changes do you think we can implement in the curriculum to get these kids college ready? And I know it's gonna have to start at the K1, 2 level.
Absolutely.
But
Pre-K.
yeah,
Good. We have to embed time for reading. There is no time for reading. Looking at the current English curriculum for the 9th grade campus, they're supposed to be reading the Odyssey.
oh no,
That's already a very cumbersome book,
Right.
or epic poem to even to navigate for an adult,
Right.
And the way that they build out the time, they're like, oh, you're gonna read like 3 or 4 books of the Odyssey, and if you recall, those are chapters basically,
Yes.
and to try to read that in 30 minutes, not even 90 minutes of reading that, and to comprehend it at the same time, you're not going to be able to do that. There is no time built in for reading. So if you're not practicing it, it's not going to become you. Then you wonder why the kids don't have vocabulary skills, because when was it taught?
Right.
When was it taught in context? Because you can't teach them separately, and that's the problem. So they took away teaching it separately, but you don't actually give the time necessary in order to teach it in context.
but
So
you want the requirement at the end of the year.
At the end of the year.
So with a book like the Odyssey, we had this conversation on social media too with the stuff, like especially when it comes to literacy in Black boys. It's what I don't think a lot of it is that they don't know how. Well, I know they don't know how to read, but that they don't like to read. I think it's what we're making them read, right? Because as all English teachers, we have taught. I've had reluctant readers, right? I've had kids that, oh shit, another book, another story. But depending on what we're reading, like I start the school year off with nothing but killer stuff. Like my kids think something wrong with me because they're like, damn. So we read the lottery. I start off every school year reading the lottery because that's where I teach you how to annotate, how I want my annotations to look like, whatever, right? And then the lottery is full of all kind of lit devices that you can teach, right? So we start off there with the lottery, and then we move to lamb to the slaughter. And then we may move, piggyback that with the landlady. And they're like, damn, miss, you good? Y'all right? Like, everything is about somebody killing somebody. You need a hug, right? But
You trying to tell me?
yeah, but now you're interested, right? Because now it's, miss, what we reading tomorrow? What we reading next week? And those are those reluctant kids. Those are the kids that were problems in 6th grade, problems in the 7th grade that are now in my class as 8th graders. Like, man, I can't wait because we finna read some killer. And then it's the projects that I'm linking with. I hate tests. I don't test the kids. So they're always going to get a project or some type of other formative assessment in my class because the district is going to test y'all every other day with these damn district assessments, campus assessments. So you don't need to sit in my class and take another damn. We ain't doing all that. I need your annotations. That's a major grade. We're going to come through this project. That's a major grade because now you're into it. Now you care more about, just abracadabra. I shouldn't even say this on the phone. I mean, on the thing, but the kids took a district assessment in social studies the other week. And I'm like, damn, I'm looking, you can see all their grades. Damn, y'all killed that, right? One of the kids was like, miss, they didn't do the lockdown browser. I say, what you mean?
But the intelligence, the intelligence to test it.
You're smart enough
to look
like
for it.
They are intuitive, like they know how to get it when they need to get it.
Yep.
And so I say, well, what you mean the lot? They say, I don't know, whoever turned the test on didn't lock the browser down. So we was all on Chat GPT, which is my next point I was getting ready to make, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, Chat GPT. So then they took the English district assessment the other day. So, and then they went back and said, I said, y'all ain't shit. These kids said, yeah, and then Miss Such and Such was on her phone the whole time. So nobody was looking at the screen.
Snitching.
They had a Google Doc open. You could share Google Doc. So you shared the Google Doc, and you could add all your friends' school email addresses on there. So we was just sharing answers on the Google Doc. I said,
So smart.
y'all ain't shit. Like,
Yeah.
And so when it came time to do the English district assessment, I was like, I ain't saying that y'all need to lock down the browsers, but I'm saying y'all probably want to make sure that the browsers are locked down, right? Because I know, because I'm able to look at your data from when you first started taking the test, that if you have never in your life passed the STAR test, okay, but then you come to this practice STAR, this assimilation exam, and you got a 93, I got questions. I got questions, and you need to give me some answers. But when we go to technology, and that's why I hate when people say, oh, the kids are dumb. These kids are not
No, they're
dumb.
not.
These kids do not like to read what you're putting in front of them, and they don't want to absorb the information that you're giving to them. But they not dumb at all. So the Chat GPT thing in college, what's up? Are y'all
So we have to put a statement in our syllabi
okay?
about ChatGPT or AI.
Artificial AI,
And so this is what I told my students. I said, and I had a college professor told me, it's better to cheat than repeat, but don't get caught. I promise you, Mr. Dottie,
Or if
Jarvis
you ain't
Christian
cheating,
College.
You ain't trying. That's my homegirl. My homegirl said that was a TSU thing. She was,
if you ain't cheating, you ain't
So she's one of my partner teachers too, but that's her favorite line, baby. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And I'm like, oh Lord. They be like, Miss Coach said. I said, don't come up with Coach said.
No, don't cheat.
No, you can't do that up in here.
But I told him, I said, I know all about it. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm also intelligent enough to know how you write, because all
Right.
your writing is done outside of class.
Right.
You do writing in class. I said, but I'm not opposed if you're using it, but use it in the most
In the right
intelligent
way.
way. So don't copy, paste,
Right.
and say that's what you've done. Be intelligent. I said, I told him, I'm only tell you this once. If you don't get it, then the church van's gonna leave and you're gonna still be on the ground. So you understand? You're not gonna get to go to the church picnic because you're still there.
right.
If you use it, go through it, fix it to accommodate how you
Yeah, sound like you.
yes sound like you, and that's all I'm gonna say about it, because it's a wonderful tool.
Yeah.
Even my doctoral professor said use it. It's a great tool. It's a
Yeah.
great asset for you, but don't be unintelligent and just copy and paste and throw
Right.
something in. But you have these teachers who are checking a box, right?
Yeah.
And so they turned it in. Check a box. They ain't
Right.
read nothing.
Yeah.
Ain't read nothing they wrote. And so with AI, I want them to use it. I want them to have the advantage of something helping them with the research. Because you can even ask it, what are some resources to look for
Absolutely.
the lottery? What are some like the first thing my students read in my class, in my 1301 class, is I Want a Wife
Okay.
by Judy Bradley. And it talks about all the things of a wife's duties. And in the end, she says, damn, I want a wife. And so we go back and forth about the duties of a wife, duties of a husband. And then I ask them, what year you think this was written? And they be all over the place. But, mostly 2000. And it was written in 1972. But it still holds today. And I say that's the first thing we read because, one, you have experience. You know marriages. You've
Right,
seen marriages.
seen it.
You've seen dominant roles in marriages. You've seen marriages that are based upon religion. All these because of course with the school I work at,
Right.
we're a very diverse type of group of people, so I have to include everybody. But the thing about it is, when you are looking for things to enhance yourself with technology, then look for the things that are really going to enhance. When you talked about libraries early in the discussion, it started me laughing because I always talk about this mysterious place that's on all the campuses. And if we were in person, we would go there. It's crazy. They have these books and stuff. They have this lady in there that knows where everything is. Maybe you guys could check it out one day. It's called a library. And they just start laughing because they're like, what you talking about? Because it's a mysterious
Yeah.
place. Don't nobody go to the library. Not an adult go to the library anymore because what's the reason?
Right.
When I got my iPhone right here.
Yeah.
I got my iPhone right here and it tells me everything. Hey, Siri.
Yeah.
I better not do that because she probably
She'll come on. My kid is reading. My kid is a junior in high school, my 16-year-old, and they are reading The Crucible right now.
Love it.
Painful, all right? painful. Especially depending on where you work, right? I think like with me, with us, I know y'all, I can make the damn Odyssey interesting, okay? So it just depends on who is doing the delivering, right? But then some people are just, hey, here, y'all supposed to read chapters 1 through 4, Act 2, Scene 1 today, right? So I'm double back and checking my kid, and I'm like, you got a 89 on this quiz, checkpoint quiz, right? How you do that? I know good damn well your ass ain't reading the Odyssey, right? I know you ain't into it. He be like, oh, shit, yeah, chat GBT. I said, y'all not doing like comprehension checks in class? Like, there's nothing that you're doing without a computer in the classroom right in front of you to say, I get this story? He was like, nope. And so my kids are so honest with me, like, because they think we friends. And I be like, I'm y'all mama, I know y'all think we friends. But they're very honest, right? And so I'm like, oh, that's cute, kid, but go get that book out the cap. Because when you tell me that's what we're reading, then as a parent, because I get the emails that the parents say they don't get when the teachers send them out. If you tell me, second 9 weeks we reading The Crucible, I'm on Amazon, I'm going to spend that $7.99. It's going to be at the door the same day because it's not that difficult, right? If I could watch the influencers put on these cargo pants and say link in my bio and go get it, I could order the book. I don't think it's as difficult as people are trying to make it out to be. But I'm like, oh, that's cute. And I'm like, go get here. Because now I already gone to Teachers Pay Teachers and found some Crucible comprehension worksheet pages. So now let me test your comprehension. Let me see where you at, because I know your ass lying. Your teacher don't know you lying, but I know you lying. But we, as ChatGPT, I tutor some kids, of some prominent families. And what I don't like about the college professors or the private school kids, the teachers, is that y'all have access to the Turnitin and all the other tools that are able to detect these things, right? And twice already, with me helping the kids right? 2 of my kids have been accused of cheating using AI, artificial intelligence, right? And I'm like, but how, Sway? And so I'll look at the report, because they'll attach the report because they're accusing them of cheating. And I'm like, that's a quote.
Right.
The whole quote is written in red.
Right.
But I inserted, the kid inserted the footnote.
Right, with the documentation.
With the documentation. But because your raggedy system pinged it as plagiarism or pinged it as AI, and you got 31% on the thing, you coming at this kid. And I'm like, okay, I need y'all to use the tools the right way too.
Right. You have to look at turnitin.com. You have to look at what it's highlighting. And on our end, it showed you everything, and it shows you the source. And if you look at the source and it's like, oh, it's a direct quote, I just keep on moving.
But see, some people are not doing that because we've had to go, like this one private school here in the greater Houston area. I was like, nah, I paid for it. I remember I was texting you that time. I said, hey, you got to turn it in account because I needed to see something because I felt some type of way about this kid being accused of cheating because then the parents are looking at me like, well, bitch, wait a minute, what are we paying you for and you cheating? And I'm like, no, that's not what happened, you know? And so I feel like I'm fighting for my life because you didn't accuse me of cheating. Now, yeah, I may have written the paper for the little boy, but he was behind and I need to hurry. He needed to turn it in. So we did what we needed to do. But it's a quote. And then there's another quote. Because I think one of the apps is like, this is highlighted in red. This means something. This is highlighted in purple.
Right.
I don't know what any of the things mean.
Like the type of sentences. If it's purple, it's the type of, if it's a run-on sentence or whatever like that.
Okay.
The red is like direct quote, a quote that it's been allegedly plagiarized. But if you put the documentation in, it's not.
Right.
Yeah, and it's got a yellow for some.
And it'll be the dumbest things. Like, I could say, well, good morning, everyone, as my intro, and then you're going to go hit every article, every blog post. And so what we found was that one sentence came from a blog. I had no idea. It just happened to be we just happened to say the same word. It was and then the little boy from a blog. I said, a blog? Like a blog post?
Yeah,
a sentence? You got this boy talking about academic dishonesty, about to get kicked out of his private school because yo turned it in. So then he came back and said, oh, I'm sorry. He had to go a whole through apology. But I ran the free version. And so this is what I said, boy, this is some bullshit. Like, so although.
Well, why are you running?
Right. Why are you even saying that? But I feel like everybody needs to utilize the tools the right way. I tell my students the same way. I use AI. You know, I might say, hey, give me a lesson plan on ABCD, you know, and then once I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. I'm going to pull this, and then I'm going to tweak it to meet the needs of myself and my students. But go ahead.
But what I was going to say is a couple of weeks ago across the pond over in good old jolly old England, they're trying an experiment where next year the students are not allowed to have phones in classroom because they're saying they did the research and saying it's a clear link to the reason why the academics are slowly going into the shitter. So I'm thinking, and as I reflect from my first starting teaching to up until this point, the cell phones are a major distraction. And what's crazy is the kids will read the title of whatever, but they don't read the rest of it, so they think they know. So when you talk about there's not enough time for reading, to me, in order to improve the process with that is, sometimes you just need to get back to basics. Put these Chromebooks down. Put all of this stuff up. And let's go old school because eventually something may happen and you may not have that access to internet. One of the principals at one of our sister school, he said he hopes that they never give the kids back Chromebooks. I say, for real, why would you say that? He said, now I'm seeing pencils to paper and kids actually. He said, I don't know what they're doing. He said, but it looks a lot better than having them sit up and do this. He said, you can tell they're actively engaged in something. And I think that with reading, you need to remove all distractions. So I can't wait to get the outcome of this experiment they're trying, but we've been saying, get these cell phones out the class.
Are y'all doing that in y'all's classrooms right now?
Oh, me? Oh, no. See, they're not allowed to use cell phones because they record too much. They just
well, that's because you done been viral
at our
many
campus.
times.
At our campus, many of the teachers take their cell phones.
Yes.
They put them in cabinets. They put them on the walls. So we are a bring your own device campus, but many of the teachers have them put their cell phones up.
Well, even
that's really not a problem on our campus.
So removing the actual devices, just if we went to Chromebooks. So, but before you say that, let me ask this question. So I hate the bring your own device policy because the devices that these kids are bringing are iPads and MacBooks, and those are just big iPhones.
Yep.
They're still texting, they're still iMessaging, they're still on all of their Instagram and Twitter apps, but they got the MacBook in front of the Gucci MacBook. Like, goddamn, I ain't even got that one. They got the Gucci MacBook in front of them, the MacBook Airs in front of them, and so it appears as though they are working on whatever you tell them to work until you run their report or whatever little cute little digital learning app you on, and they asses ain't done shit, but they got that book in front of them. But anyway, but as far as removing the Chromebook out of your classroom, like how much paper and pen work are you guys doing as communications teachers, as English teachers in your classroom?
I try to do a balance of both because
Okay.
we need technology to give us the information.
Okay.
Some of the topics that they're going to cover in their speeches, we may not have access to in the library. So we do use that. But
For the research
For the
purpose.
research. But when it comes down to your brainstorming, writing your, doing your pre-writes, I like to see paper and pen. Because to me, that gives me more satisfaction or more security of knowing that you're actually doing this
Right.
on your own.
Right.
And you're actually going through some type of critical thinking process, because once those Chromebooks open or those cell phones out, and that's a big problem that I struggle with kids and people in general, we can use these gadgets for everything but what we need them to use them
Right.
for. So when they're doing their pre-writes, it forces you to think, well, Ms. Germany, can we use a Chromebook? No. Because at this point, I sent you to the library to print whatever you need
Get
out.
all your ideas down.
Yeah. And so at that point, at least for a week, I put Chromebooks up. No, we're not doing because at this point you have everything you need. You need to read it. Like my final exam presentation, we spent about 6 weeks on that. I'm showing them how to research, especially how to tell, as Donald Crump would say, fake news. how to manipulate your way through. I'm telling them about sorts of stuff. But I can only get the end product of what I get is by sometimes taking those digital devices because they become a handicap.
Yeah.
These kids don't have an original idea. You can ask them, how do you feel about the weather today? And they're going to go to Google. I would rather for you to say, I don't know, what you think
What do
about
you
the
think?
weather, as opposed to every original thought. You're relying on technology.
But the students will tell you that they prefer pen and paper. They would tell you that. I've had students say, "Oh, Miss, did you print it out for me?" Printing off their article offline because they know that they're not going. They're learning what their limitations are, and they'll tell you, "Miss, I'm not going to pay attention if you."
And they're tired of the
They're
computer.
tired.
We have to remember, like, that's all we shoved in these kids' faces for 2-3 years, and they are exhausted from that. I was going to ask you, when you mentioned the Odyssey, and I'm going to come to you and ask you the same question. When you mentioned the Odyssey, do you read to your high schoolers?
The funny thing about it, I was gonna mention about reading to the high school. She said, take it back to basics. And I recall last year I had implemented something called First Chapter Friday. And so on those ninth graders used to eating out the palm of my hand, just wanted me to read. And then we would start the process of popcorning it, and to see them to take in, like students who hate to read, who hate to read anything. It got to a point that it was like, Miss, don't read the first chapter, read the second chapter to this one, because we want to continue on with this particular story. So just finding something and reading to them to segue to the Odyssey. Yes, I feel like you have to model it. You have to model. You have to see them. You even have to stumble. You have to mess up that word in front of them, so they can see
gotta
that
be
it is
human.
okay. Exactly, be human, so they don't think that it's not okay. Okay, if I messed up that word, if I called that name, that I said Telemachus instead of Telemachus,
Right.
it's okay, because my teacher she messed up.
Yeah.
And then
She kept going.
She kept going. Exactly. So it is important to model it for them, and sometimes so that they can see that it's possible. Humanize the popcorn reading. Because I feel like we don't do that. When we're up there and we're just perfect and we do everything in perfection, we're only calling on the students who we know can read it and going to do it the way. No, call on Sally. Sally got a lisp and it's okay.
Right.
We can listen. We can hear her. We understand what she's saying.
Sally got a list.
Y'all going to hell.
It's Sally. We want to apologize to you.
That is Miss
He
Germany.
play too much.
Right, all the time. So, okay, so I'm going to ask you, Ro, as a college professor in your 1301, 1302 class, do you read to your kids?
I do.
Your students. I can't call them
my
grown-ass people.
Yes, I do read to the grown people.
Okay.
And I literally read I Want a Wife to them. And a lot of times, especially when I'm going back through a story, I'm going to tell it the Houston version way.
Right.
Right? So, like, you ever read The Necklace?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so, right. So I tell the necklace through the Houston, Madam Lozelle and all that. That's Lucy or whatever name I give her, and they went to the Galleria.
Okay.
It's like that because they enjoy it also, right? I also have them write in class because now you got to transfer when you're online. Yeah. Take a picture and show it to me.
Right.
Show it to me in the camera. Then they have 10 minutes to upload it after class ends. So you can't be doing all kind of crazy stuff because that keeps accountability. Right? You have to keep accountability because
and engagement. Because your ass online doing what you want to do.
Let me tell you, we start with motivational video every week, every class period. We're gonna talk about it and I tell them all the time, y'all don't realize this, but I'm teaching you. I said, I know, I'm surprising you. I know you think like, why is she doing this? And what is it? I have a plan in action. And they're like, oh, we get it. We get that. We tie it in. I'm like, yeah, that's what it's called to be an educator.
Right.
To tie it in all for you. And this young lady right here, Ms. McCoy gave me an app called Speedwrite.
Okay.
And Speedwrite has changed my life.
Let me write that down. Tell us about
Speedwrite.
I need some life changing. What is Speedwrite? Shit.
Speedwrite. So, you don't want to plagiarize, right?
No.
You don't want those little kids to get in trouble. So, Speedwrite, I pay for it. It's $20 a month or whatever it is. It's worth it. And basically, like I could copy and paste everything that's on here, right? And I put in Speedwrite. Speedwrite will take it where it's not plagiarized. Write it so it's not plagiarized.
Amen.
I mean, it's a gift from God, especially when you're in graduate school.
Hey, hello.
A teacher, please evaluate. Please evaluate.
It's so good that I haven't even told people I'm in school with about it.
Now you just told.
Now
Now you just told the world.
They're not gonna listen to this.
Yes, they are.
Oh, no, they live in Montana and Colorado. So.
They listen too.
And
They listen.
They the
I'm
ones.
talking about these ones though.
They the ones.
They the
Only
one
my class,
invented
though.
it.
Oh, okay. I'm like, they the ones.
I'm talking about the ones in my class. I was gonna share this with them, but that's I can't share.
But one of the things I do is I invite my students to come see my shows because I teach speech, how to write speeches. I'm teaching about
public speaking.
And what I'll do is there's a lot of people just thought I was being funny style. You just want them kids to go to your show. Yeah, I do. But when we come back, we have the discussion. They have to take notes. But some of my students don't understand. You don't pull out your paper and pen at the Houston Improv and take notes. Don't look uncool. But we'll come back and everything that we've discussed, they have to point it out.
Did you
and
do
what
it
I
like a
said, did you
checklist?
do this like a checklist? Now do you understand how this is an attention getter? What attention getter can you say I use? And this, that, and the other. So with they're actually going and drinking, unfortunately. But they're learning, and they can come back and pinpoint all the things I'm telling them to look. What was one of the themes I talked about? What happened? And it works out well because anything that you can do to take, per se, a lesson off of paper and bring it to life and show them, number one, how to apply it to life. With my high school students, when we're doing our building conversation, they think nothing has to do with nothing when it comes down to the wars in the Middle East. And first thing I go is, you gonna drive a car? Well, yeah. Your car gonna use oil or gas? Yeah. You might want to know why your oil and gas, why you're paying more at the pump. For real? So they think nothing applies, but we call it building our conversation. We'll take, let's say they're talking about teenage pregnancy. Okay, let's talk about teenage pregnancy. But what else is new? And that segue us into, the state trying to keep the girls from having abortions. And my daddy say they need a boy. I'm like, baby, tell Clifford to shut up. Tell Clifford to shut up. But once you show them where it applies, they will go back and read. I had a kid that we got into a whole debate about the rap industry. And I'm going to get a lawyer for this or this. I said, you going to spend our money you don't have. And I start telling him, I said, you need to go back and read. At first he left out the class. He was hiding catfish grease. But then he came back and said, I read something on that, and you were right. I'm paying out too much money, and if you don't need a manager if you don't have anything to manage, and and you know what I started, and I was proud because at first I was gonna choke him out. I'm trying to help you,
Choke them out.
but
And be on 3-week leave again.
again, yes, and enjoy myself. But what happened was, he was so mad. Let me go read for myself because I was.
I gotta prove her wrong.
Trying to prove you
And
wrong.
he came back and he was like, "You were right." Now, whenever I tell him to go and read something, I say, "Go where you gonna find it? I gotta read about it," and he will go and read. So once you make time, first and foremost, like she said, we got to make time for reading. We're expecting these kids. I hate to say it, to walk and chew bubble gum, but some of them.
But see, and that's another thing I run across all the time is that they don't take the time to do it or research or find out about it. So I tell my students to inbox me on Canva because I don't look at emails, not from the institution.
Right.
And I was like, well, I can't find the article you're talking about for this discussion question. Did you look for it? It's in the module. I don't give them the answers.
Yes.
Right.
Because I always have to send them back. I said, because y'all, again, that's the instantaneous. Y'all want the answer.
Yeah.
Go find the answer.
Their parents are the same way though. We discussed that, how I could send a whole email out saying everything from A to Z, like this is everything you need to know, hyperlink the document, this is everything you need, right? And then I'll get a response email. Can you just tell me your tutorial dates?
And
Teachers
reverse.
like that too, y'all.
Yeah.
So let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I get in trouble. So we got this newsletter that come out.
Right.
We had this newsletter that comes out every Sunday. It's a staff newsletter, right? And it tells you all the weekly happenings for the next coming week for staff, right? I never read it, but it's always something to do in the newsletter. And I keep telling my principal, as an adult, it's too overstimulating the document, because I open it, if I click on it, it's flashing lights, it's color. Like every department has to do their own thing. Every administrator has their own page, and everybody's doing something different. So this one may got some music and some color strobing lights on the document, and then this. And I say, when I open a document,
stimuli.
it overstimulates me. I'm grown, right? And they like, oh, you're not a child. No, that applies to me as an adult too. And so I told my principal, I said, hey, why don't you take all of this stuff, put it in ChatGPT, and turn it into a one-page document? Like, just like this right here, with some bullet points, and click this link for more. If this applies to you, then you can click that link and read it. Because that's why we're getting in trouble, because we haven't done you ain't do your PSAT review before where was that at? In the newsletter. Oh, I opened a page and it was strobing lights, and I clicked off the document.
all you have to do is say those strobing lights causes a medical condition.
This is a part of your Jennifer Germany.
No, this is serious because that's what I tell them. I can't, my therapist, because I suffer from PTBSD, post-traumatic bullshit disorder.
Okay.
So I can't do, why you don't read your emails? Because my therapist say my overall health is more important than that email.
most of the time, who tells you about something in the email?
You'll tell me, Miss Clayton will tell me. I'm not, because have you ever seen The Wiz?
Yeah, long time ago.
Don't want no bad news?
Yeah.
To me, emails signal bad
That's
news.
it.
So I don't read them because it would have me crying. They want to send birthday shout-outs. They want to, they just do too much.
And you can't erase the birthday shout-outs. That's the thing.
Oh, no, that's
I
not.
delete it, and it still comes back if somebody responds. I don't know how they did that.
Oh, no.
But Miss McCoy, she sends us a one-pager every week.
And I think think
but
about the kids.
that's my point.
Yeah,
That's she
my
said, but people
point.
don't read it.
People do not read.
Even still,
Even still, and it's like, why you send that one page out? But did you add this? And can I put this? It's on the one pager that you don't want me to send every day. Don't worry about it. I'm not sending it anymore, and y'all know who I'm talking to.
Well, I'm sorry. I want to be the first to apologize.
Teachers are the worst students.
Yeah,
we talk trash about the kids, but we're probably just as bad.
But they already know when I get, as they call it they call it the B word season for me. And, I send lots of emails out when it's
This
that.
is PSAT time, STAR testing time.
And they be like, really?
Well, that's just your job, and your license rely on this.
Well, I told them if they want me and this 6'5", 400-pound man to come live with them, then that's
We
fine.
can't feed them.
Well, I do
want
send
them.
out emails
You do.
when Black History. In Black History, I send out emails recruiting. That's the only time I think I email people.
No, you sent me emails.
I did.
Yeah, and for Hispanic Heritage Month.
You
See,
sent
I
me emails
did.
to print this.
Yeah, because they won't fix my printer. Okay, see, if it has something to do with cultural inclusiveness,
That's you.
I'm on
That's
it.
your
'Cause
department.
That is my thing. That's my thing. But
But that's good. You are a place of belonging for those kids though,
Yeah, 'cause I
because
need
they
them
have
to
to
know.
feel included. I think that's super
I
important.
have them all. They may not all serve Jesus, but they know in my classroom Jesus is what? Real. I had a little white
And if they don't know the answer to the question, what did they write?
Jesus. If you do not know the answer, put Jesus.
And they gonna be all right.
And Jesus gonna fix it.
That's the sprinkle that you said you don't put
better-
on, but you
put
sprinkle.
Jesus on it. And I had a whole 2 departments coming to look for me after school. Miss Germany, come here. What? Why do I have Jesus is the square root of 4? Jesus, the answer is Jesus, and you can't mark it wrong because Jesus is gonna strike you down. I said, "Whoa, I'm trying to save soul."
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Let me ask before we close out this segment. She is so cute.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer. My English teacher. So a question I get often from parents who are trying to engage their kids, especially on the middle school, high school level. What are some of your best reads, suggestions for best reads of books that parents can read with their kids? Quick reads that we can start to get parents engaged in reading. I'll go first, and then y'all can piggyback what you think. It's not necessarily a super quick read, but I love The Most Dangerous Game. All right, so I'm gonna jot these down because I know people are gonna be asking like, where can we go to get these resources? I love The Most Dangerous Game. I love Long Way Down, especially for my black and brown boys. Jason Reynolds, The King. Think that's a super quick and easy read for parents to read with their kids and a good conversation starter. So we always talk about parents talking to their kids, but I like the open-ended discussions because now the kids are having to do open-ended responses on the STAR test. So a good way to practice with that at home is to ask your kids the questions and don't let them get away with. I tell my parents that you ask your kid, "How's your day?" Good. Don't let them get away with that. Like drag that shit out of them. So I love The Most Dangerous Game. I love the Long Way Down. I'm sorry, and I love Lamb to the Slaughter. Love, 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 love. And those are just quick things I could think of right now, or short reads that will get your kid engaged in conversation. I always connect Lamb to the Slaughter to the story of Claire Harris. Y'all know the lady that ran.
That's my role model.
That's my girl.
She hit her husband.
That's my girl.
And she made sure she got him. She backed that thing up and hit him again. I love her.
Love it. But that's my fiction to nonfiction connect with the kids. And McCoy looking like, bitch, what? Yes, I do, because guess what? It gets them engaged and it gets the conversation going. And so, is it on a curriculum? I make it be a part of the curriculum. Am I hitting the teaks? Absolutely, I'm hitting the teaks. But what is going to get them engaged and going into it? So, anyway, I'm going to go to you. You mentioned the necklace earlier.
The necklace.
But you put an H-Town spin on the necklace.
H-Town spin on. I
like
love the House on Mango Street.
I
Okay.
was gonna say that.
I'm
one.
sorry, Monster.
Okay.
There's a Maya Angelou excerpt called "What's Your Name, Girl?" What's My Name, Girl? Excuse me, by Maya Angelou, and then there's one by Manuel Muniz called "Leave Your Name at the Border."
All right. Now, wait. You said what's the book you said the story you start off with your classes every year?
It's an excerpt from Miss Magazine from 1972 called "I Want a Wife." Judy Braddy.
All right, Miss McCoy, what you got? High school, what you got?
Okay, so I was gonna say The House on Mango Street.
Great book.
Classic. I will also say Brown Girl Dreaming. I would say I don't have like really short reads, but Poet X.
Oh yeah, I love Poet X. We're actually getting ready to start. Oh, I can't tell my kids that we're actually getting ready to start Poet X. Okay.
And one that I was introduced to a couple of years ago, The Book of Unknown Americans. Yeah, it's especially for the students in our district. It's have a very high Hispanic population. We did that, and it was so relatable for our students. So relatable, and I think it leans in all the black kids and the Hispanic kids love this story. So
I like that.
It's very relatable.
All right. What you got?
I'm into cultural diversity, especially with our demographics being Hispanic. I have them reading. We've read. I Am the American Dream. It's a story about a Hispanic girl. She was born in Mexico, came to the States, and they would always tell her, "Oh wow, you speak very white." And in where she's from, she thought that was like supposed to be a big whoop-de-doo. Oh, they're praising me. But she didn't understand how that could be an insult. It's almost like they wanted to silence her her culture, her culture side. So basically the book is telling them about, listen, don't, just because you move to a different country doesn't mean you have to sacrifice and assimilate your cultural background, living experience. Then we read a lot of, and this is going to sound crazy, this is where internet comes into part, Rolling Things by Roland Martin, because I'm all into cultural events. We chronically watch Roland Martin's, because he's always talking about the up-to-date things, and he also breaks it down to the perspective of minorities. And I'm into a lot of bio stories, because the kids think that nobody else has gone through their story, like Tupac, a story about Tupac, Biggie. Tupac has a book of poetry. Things I try to pick something from names that they would recognize, because they think that, oh, these people didn't have to read, and then they finding out these people are actually poets. When I read to them, and y'all gonna remember this, once upon a time, not long ago, when kids, y'all too young for that.
I'm like, what?
Dun, 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 dun.
Sleek Rick?
Bam.
Okay.
Okay. I read that to them, and they loved the story, and I played it for them. They said, wait a minute, is it a rap or is it a story? Now, that's the question.
That's the question.
That is the question. So we do a lot of that, but I'm really interested in having them read things that are currently going on, or things that are about their culture. Because if I get one more Hispanic kid to tell me who is the most influential Hispanic person that you know of, if I hear one more El Chapo, that chop hide.
Well, wait now.
We can
saying,
see how we can tie that
as
in
an
right
El
there.
Chapo fan and the Narcos,
Yeah, but I always tell them, I want you to think of yourself more than just that.
But I would ask them why. I would make like let's have a discussion and let's have a like.
And you know what? I'm gonna tell you some of the answers I got. Look at how many times he was able to sneak out the jail. Look at how much money he made. But look at how many people died from that. Well, they didn't have to take the drugs. I said, well, what about all the people? That's the story. But here's the thing. The reason why they focus so much and they'll choose him is because look at the narrative or the propaganda that's put forth.
Right.
Who else other than El Chapo are we really pushing? That's why Hispanic Heritage Month is so important.
Yeah.
And Black History Month are so important, because they don't even know. And like I said, LULAC, they had no idea
What that was.
I said, heard of the NAACP? Yeah. What? Explain to me what you know about it. And they'll tell me. I say, well, LULAC does the same thing. And the next question, why nobody told us about that? So I'm really trying to get them, because honestly, I'm cracking jokes, but I'm very passionate about them knowing, because it's so much going on.
But see, you say that El Chapo, I would tie BMF with El Chapo, and we would like
and power.
you could relate all that to them.
Yeah, but and you're right. But what I want them to also see is when I told them, you know who's one of the most powerful Hispanic women? Lena Hidalgo. Who is that? She runs Harris County. She runs this. For real? Yeah. You remember they told us to stay at home and we couldn't go nowhere in Harris County? Yeah. She the one said it. That Hispanic lady said we couldn't go outside. That's how much power she has. And they're like, for real? So we running it like that? Yeah. You got Adrian Garcia, whether, it's not about politics, but they aren't aware, and this goes a lot of times with our African American kids past Sheila Jackson Lee and Barack Obama, and the only reason why they remember Sheila, and I love Sheila Jackson Lee. They go the woman with the
crown braid. That's all they know.
When they throw their hand up with the
Now, that's why curriculum reform is so important.
Yeah.
Because we can say, Hispanic Heritage Month and Black History Month, but this stuff needs to be taught
all year
365.
round.
That's not going to
Like-
that's not going to
But
happen.
then that takes me back to it's not gonna happen in the state of Texas, and it's not gonna happen like depending on
Florida.
what campuses you on. They make a big stink out of that. Like don't be doing no Hispanic Heritage Heritage Month and don't do. Are you gonna do a like where I am? They get nasty with it, you know. So you have to have an administrator, and you have to have teachers that are like, parents don't get to run what we do up in here, and we're gonna do this anyway. But then even in the district, you got some parents. Some principals and some schools that this is my stuff. I run it how I want to. Then you got some that are very terrified of parents and very terrified of higher ups in the district. So they're going to fold. They're gonna do whatever people say.
But as I look at what's going on in Florida, when you start banning Maya Angelou. But they also banned the math book. What did math do to anybody?
What were the problems asking? And then who wrote the problem?
And what they did was, because it was an elementary math book, and they had people of different color working, and they banned that. And also, using the book banning also can help you entice kids to read.
Yeah.
You know what? They don't want y'all to read this, so I'm slide you this Maya Angelou book, but I need it.
I don't know where I saw this and where it was, but they have all the band. I think it's here in Houston. They have all the banned books bus, and they'll go to the neighborhoods with all the books that are banned and allow people to check them out.
And in New York, the New York Library, they have it where everybody can have a library card.
Well, see, this is the problem, and that's what Chris alluded to. You letting this legislation run things, and even with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, for those of you who don't know, and how it's been taken out of even college, right? You don't even have those departments anymore because everybody should be celebrated. You need to celebrate Hispanic, blacks, the alphabet people. You know, I get on all those alphabets. But what one of my colleagues told me is that his campus, they changed the name of the department. And they still doing the work.
Okay, I like that.
So, I mean, you have to think, what do we want to do? Do we want to fight this battle? Because you have these people who are scared to fight the battle.
Right.
I would assume that most likely our principal will be scared to fight the battle. But he might not be because he's new and he wants to make a name for himself. But the battle is you have to get the buy-in. Okay? If we're supporting you, you should support us.
Right.
And I shouldn't see you on that campus because I took their cell phone and you come up in your slippers and your headdress. Come up there because you are truly caring about and engaged in your child's education. Because what happens is everybody gets so consumed with everything else that's going on. It's a mental health issue. It's this, it's that, and the other. And I'm so tired of people getting passes because they're fragile. They're delicate. Well, then I'm going to be fragile and delicate then.
Right.
And I know I'm not. But I'm finna play the fool, too.
You got to play.
You can't play the game. Like I said, I've been saying this is my new thing the last 2 weeks. You can't be the victim and the aggressor. It don't work like that.
The victim and the villain.
It don't work like that. You got to be, well, somewhat PC, but you have to be in it for the right reasons. Right? We're all in education, and we're not in it because it pays a lot.
All right.
That's not what we're doing. We're not over here making the money. We're in here because we truly care about what we're doing. We care about these kids, right? Or that should be the reason why you're there.
Right.
Because if you're not there, because we have a coworker, he there from the Romans.
Right.
But
we all have those.
But so how you engage, and I didn't say this before, but I'm the face of the campus, which is the Family and Community Engagement Liaison.
Okay.
So Title I.
I like that.
And so with that hat, it's like so much extra, you know, and a lot of people try to focus on the money, spend the money for the Title I. And I tell my bookkeeper all the time, leave me out the money. Now, I'll do the activities. That's fine. I'll create, you know, we got something, a trunk or treat on the 26th. No problem. But how you going to get the people to come?
Right.
How you going to get the people to come, and how you going to get the people to understand we're doing this for you and your kids?
And see, that's a problem I have. Why do we have to, I guess I come from a different generation. I'll be 49 next month. But why do we have to do fish fries and spaghetti dinners just for you to come up to the school?
That's where we are. I mean, even I'm at in an upper echelon place, and we have to do, if it's no food involved,
they gonna come.
It's gonna be lack of
Let me tell you,
turnout.
I have been at a comedy show, and a parent I needed to see showed up. Girl, you're so funny. My child said you're funny. I said, yeah, come here, but let me talk to you. Can you look at this? This boy is failing. And I'm one of those teachers. I'm going to tell on other classes, too. Got a 54 here, this, that, the other. And one of my best friends, Brandy, said, You wrong. This is the wrong time. I said, I've been trying to get in contact with parents. So that's wrong. So you'll talk to parents at the clubs, wherever I am.
Wherever I see you.
I've
been trying to get in contact with you.
I have gone to, my church was visiting another church. I saw one of the kids I knew. I carried a book in my trunk. Ma'am, he didn't do this, that, and the other. So we're going to sit right back here. We're going to be listening to the Lord. But he need to do this. We all in the back. So all the kids at the church looking back, laughing. He going, and I'm going, yes, Lord. That's wrong. Redo that. Yes, Lord. Then had the audacity to shout, whoa, that was a good word. He thought I got caught up so much in the word, I forgot the work. I said, nah, fool, where my work? And so to me, you have to be bought in on your child's, have buy-in or have bought in on your child's education by you just simply, I need to go check on my child. If you wake up this morning, I need to go check on, just go.
Just go.
Because it makes it look like we have to really go above and beyond to get you to support your own kid.
Yeah. And I remember working at this junior high many moons ago in Southeast Houston. And one of the greatest principals I've ever worked for, that was the only way he could get parents to come to the open houses and the math curriculum nights and the reading curriculum nights, is that he would, this is so crazy, but like, hey, Frenchie's is going to be providing dinner tonight. And the parents knew, like, Frenchie's would come and Frenchie's would dump a bunch of chicken, and he would have the cafeteria ladies like make spaghetti, things like that. But it would be so packed in there because we were promising a meal for the parents to come up, and then they would come and they would bring everybody. The whole family would come, but we got you there, and that was his thing. And he would get people to donate TVs and bed furniture pieces and things like that. But to get the people out, he would have to say, we serving dinner and we'll have a raffle drawing for furniture. So when you go to the different teachers and you go to the different sections for a curriculum night, these people are going to give you a ticket. These people are going to give you a ticket. But you can get your ticket until you listen to the whole spiel or you participate in the whole entire activity. And then you got your ticket. Then at the end, he would come and host. That's when he would do his job as the principal and tell you all the things that's going on in the school, everything you need to know. And then the drawings would be at the very damn end, because you're going to sit here and listen to everything we got to say to you as a parent.
And that sounds exciting, and that's a way. But we can't just come check on. Maybe I look at how my daddy used to do pop-ups.
Well, we old school. We had old school parents, and it don't work like. And thank God my mama is still old school, because my mama will pop up on my children. She helped me out. My mama pop up at a school and email a teacher too on behalf of. You know.
I still get the fear of God when I see my mom and daddy. Even when I'm sick at work and Ro will call my dad. Yes, sir. It's like all you had to do was call her dad. Just a different thing. I just want people.
You see how she act? I have to have her daddy phone.
Yeah.
I just want parents to know that you are welcome. At first, can we get a chair? Is there one?
Yeah.
Is there one that want to come?
Oh Lord, here she goes.
And join the community of education? Is there one? Is there one who wants to help us to help your child be successful? Is there one? Do I see a hand? It's free. It's free. You want salvation? Come join the church of helping your child get out your house. Because if you don't help us, they going to be right there. Amen.
Or they going to put them out and tell them to go get it. We see that happen, but that's a whole nother podcast. But so to wrap this episode up, quick tip for parents. Like, what can parents do at home quickly to close the literacy gap?
Read at home. Even if you can't read, make it look like you're reading. They don't know the difference.
Okay.
Read.
Miss McCoy?
Listen. When after they've read, listen to what they have to say. Ask questions. And not the typical, what's your favorite person in there? What's your favorite character? No, dig a little deeper. How did that person make you feel? How did what that quote make you feel in that story? Why are you still thinking about that? Probe them. Ask questions. Listen.
Okay. Bro?
I say when you have conversations, make them speak in sentences.
Complete sentences.
Complete
Amen.
sentences. So, how was your dinner? Good. No. How was your dinner? The hamburger was juicy, the French fries were crispy, and the milkshake was milkshaking. Period.
The milkshake brought the boys to the yard.
Right. I mean, and you laugh, and they laugh, but it
Right.
really works, because if you have those conversations like that, it will continue to work as they write. and then you're not getting away with little bit of things.
I like that.
And before we go, I want to say this: for every profession a person wants to go in, they have a book about it. I had a kid that started talking about telling jokes or something, and I showed him the Comedy Bible. You can read this, and it'll help you get the foundation of comedy before. Then I even showed him the workbook. He said, "You still use it?" Yes. It keeps me on track. So find out what they're interested in and go in that direction.
And I like that, cultivate that. So I think my tip, if I had to give a tip to parents, I would say read what they're reading in class. Like go get online, check the work. If they say we reading a necklace, all right, let's sit down and talk to me about the necklace. Tell me what's going on, because I've never read the necklace before. If I'm a parent, I'm going to play stupid. I've never read the necklace before. Tell me what's going on in the necklace. And my biggest thing is always summaries, right? Even when I'm teaching my kids to write summaries, I say, always write your summary quickly, but give enough information so where a person that has never read the book before, read the story before, can get a good gist of what's going on in the
Parents,
story.
you can use your cell phone.
You can use your cell
and look for the cliff notes.
Yeah.
That's what you were when you were in college.
Yeah.
In high school.
And you can use your cell phone to go on Schoology and check home access. Oh, it's just not there for BravoCon. Oh, you can read
Or
all
the other spicy site.
the other spices. You can actually do work. And stop blaming everything on COVID. I'm the spokesperson for COVID. Stop blaming it on us. That kid wasn't reading before COVID. We talked about that earlier.
We did.
Stop blaming COVID. COVID said he has had enough. He's suing every person.
All right. Well, I want to thank my guests for coming out to hang out with me
Thank
this Sunday
you, thank
morning. I
you.
appreciate y'all so very much. And we'll be back next week to another episode of Reach My Force Spot. What you got to say, hot girl? Houston's hot girl comedian. What's your Instagram?
Oh, good. I'm glad you can follow me on my Instagram. Don't follow me in real life because Harris County looking for me because I got these tickets.
She's not lying, though.
They will escort me to court or jail. You can follow me at Jennifer, JENNIFER, last name Germany, JERMANY, and that's my handle for all my social media. Now, if you run across a skinny Jennifer Germany, that's my cousin. I'm the thicker one. Okay.
Now, are your viral videos on your personal social media, the ones that your kids put up of you, are those on your personal social media? The one where you cussed the little boy out and you got you 3
first of
weeks?
all, let me explain to y'all what had happened.
Oh, Lord.
That's a whole nother
That's
show.
a whole
No,
nother
but
show.
this I'm gonna do a short version. When you're a teacher, you come there to educate, to inspire, to motivate. You don't come to be stalked, harassed, and call the N word with the B word. I don't, and this needs to be a topic.
Okay. Yes.
Teachers, stop getting your ass whooped in these classrooms. I had a young man that assaulted 2 other teachers and made a threat to me. I'm from Homestead, Texas. That's not going to happen that way. And I had been putting up with this from August to February. A young Anglo kid was going to threaten me and called me up and the B word.
Together.
Together. Ooh-wee. And I'm human. It wasn't my best day. Do I apologize for my behavior? No. Because when I'm writing things up and I'm reporting it and you fail to act, you put me in that situation. I had to do what I needed to do. I just thank God he kept my hands in my pockets. You're not going to be Anglo and think you're going to whoop my behind during Black History Month.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, no. No. You're not going to sit up here. You done hit 2 other fools, but you're not going to hit this one.
Yeah, I'll just go on TikTok, find Jennifer.
Well, I
Germany.
was just about to ask, can I link the video? Do you
don't
mind
care.
if I link the video?
I don't care.
And can I link the other one where you was talking about the police officer?
Yes,
Because you've been viral for that too. You're just all over the place.
Yeah, but you know what? That video with the one with the kid actually got me more work because I went to California and I had to perform at Flappers, and the guy that brought me to the stage, he was like, "We get ready to bring this one lady to the stage." I don't know what school she work at, but sometimes you got to get down with the get down. And some people had questions. And first of all, I had an overwhelming number of support. And then when I sat down and I would tell them, this is what happened. This is what happened. Oh, you should have whooped his ass a long time ago. And you reported it to this, you did this, did all of that. Now what? Oh, we understand.
Okay.
We understand. So, you know
I
what?
always say if they came in the room for 30 minutes, they would understand a whole lot. All they got to do is show up.
But when you already know the kid's behavior and the kid has shown you this behavior and nothing still gets done, I
Right.
still think I got a raw end of the deal. But I did get 3 weeks off, had a good time.
3 weeks paid.
Pay, got that money.
No, you had 3 weeks of reflection.
We're like, yes.
Call it what you want, because y'all really want to know what I was doing in 3 weeks. But it wasn't one of my best days. But it shows that teachers, you can drive a teacher to the point when you are not supporting teachers, when you don't have their back. They got people killing teachers. This is crazy. I already know this child and hit 2 teachers. Why the hell am I gonna volunteer to be the third one? No. I'm not gonna be too many. I don't know if I can say this word. I'm not gonna be too many old monkey bitches or nigga bitch. I can't. Not during Black History. Especially, baby, the Nat Turner rose up in my spirit. Oh, yes, the Nat Turner. Malcolm X. See, I'm a descendant of Nat Turner. He my great
Jesus.
great
Cue the mic,
step-grandfather.
cue the music.
Thank you, Rich
Thank
Marks,
y'all for joining
for us finest.
today, because she going to get me canceled while she on comedy, too. I'm going to be... All right, thank y'all for joining us. We'll be back next week. This podcast was made possible by producer extraordinaire D. Francis at the legendary Lab 7 Studios in Mo City, Texas.